Hi guys, what's up? Tax here. We are here with round number 10 of the Go-Karting Championship in 2015. We're getting towards the last couple of races, aren't we? I've already wrapped up the championship, which is good for me, but there's a big battle going on for second place downwards. So that's going to be exciting to look out for the last couple of races. We'll of course have all the onboard cameras from the other people. So we're going to have Tom on the right hand side today, left hand side is myself, and in the future when other people will have the helmets which have the sort of GoPro mount on them, we of course will have the cameras on them as well. So today, left hand side is me, right hand side is Tom. Obviously I'm the all blue, Tom's the green with the black helmet. Tim, I'm not too sure today because he didn't bring his actual helmet that you've seen in the past, the white and green one. We'll see it in a minute. And also Tom L is in this race as well, so there's 4 of us here today, but nonetheless it should be good racing because we're all pretty similar speeds. So anyway, look at the lights. This is qualifying, of course. The lights are out and away we go. I get a typically bad start, so I'm sure we'll see Tim go past soon. So you can see Tim's got the dark blue overalls and the black helmet, and I think Tom L's got the dark blue overalls and the white helmet. So you can see all different colours and everything, and you know who is who now. So Tom L has got into the front. He's up to the first position. It's only qualifying obviously, but being out in front obviously can help you out in this qualifying session because it means that you've got clear space ahead of you. But Tom is right behind Tom L. Of course it's going to get confusing once again, but Tom looking for a move past Tom L, and I don't think he's going to make it down the straight because Tom L does have that straight line advantage over pretty much everyone, you could say, except from James. But down up to this top hairpin here, see him closing in on Tim, but I try and go around the outside here, but I just don't have enough momentum, and the kart doesn't really have the grip through that middle part of the corner. So currently I sit at the back of the group, Tim third back, Tom in second place, and Tom L currently leads this group here. But as I said, it's only qualifying, so it doesn't really matter about where you are in the group now. But it looks like Tim's trying to go past Tom, but he couldn't quite get enough momentum through that last corner to get that overtake done, and Tom has to stay, or Tim I should say, has to stick behind Tom for now. At this point I was actually like, what is happening here? My go-kart is not going properly. Oh, Tim goes for a nice move down the inside there of Tom and actually puts a bit of space between him, that is Tim that is, and Tom L. A little bit of a gap there, so there might be an opportunity for Tim to put in some really fast lap times here to go and get that pole position. But anyway, back to what I was thinking at this point. I was like, there's something not quite right with this go-kart here. It keeps cutting out. I was like, I'll give it a couple more minutes, just see what's happening here, see if it's just me or maybe it's just a couple of laps or whatever this is happening. But it seemed to be, you can see I've dropped way behind here. I'm not sure, actually I think I might have slightly dropped back a bit as well, but really I didn't have the pace in this car as well. I didn't feel like something was 100%. So in a couple of laps time I do decide to come into the pit lane, because actually I did quickly ask Carl, who is sort of the runner of the go-kart place. He said that it's probably a misfire which is going on in the go-kart, so that meant obviously it was just cutting out and I was going a lot slower than obviously I wanted to. And when we compared the times in this kart to the one I got afterwards, I was over a second faster, so I think that sort of shows quite a big difference there. And the next car I had wasn't exactly amazing, it wasn't exactly perfect, but still a lot better than this one obviously that kept misfiring. So I think we're going to go around for one more lap. And yeah, because otherwise we'll peel into the pit lane now. Don't think we are, but you can see I'm looking around at this point. This is where I'm thinking, is it a misfire? Because at this point I didn't know whether it was a misfire or not. It's when I came to the pit lane I spoke to Carl and he said it's probably a misfire. But yeah, I was like, is there something wrong with the wheels or something? Are they not attached properly or something? I don't know. But like this point here was just like cutting out, and I was like, what is happening here? But anyway, at this point I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to come into the pits this lap because you can see how much time I've lost to Tim and Tom in front. I just couldn't keep the speed going, and I was going to be so far behind. And obviously, when you spend money, you want to have a nice experience on the go-kart. So at this point, I decided to go into the pit lane and switch over to hopefully a better kart. Obviously, it did turn out to be a better kart, which is good. But you can see on the right-hand side, Tom is still going around, but he's still tucked up behind Tim. Bit of a mouthful that, but yeah, he's still, I was going to say, stuck up behind Tim there. But yeah, so he's trying to get past him, and you can see at this point I was like, it's got some sort of problem. So he's jumped into the kart beside it here, and it's hasn't got a new engine or anything. It didn't look like it had particularly new tyres, so it looks like we're going for a straight swap. But I think the engine probably should be a bit better, and obviously it did turn out to be. So there we are, hopping into the new go-kart here. Tom had a really good run down that straight, by the way. He really did nearly get past Tim there, but it wasn't to be. He didn't manage to quite get that overtake done. But anyway, we have come out a lap and a half behind now, so yeah, I suppose it's better. We'll only have a couple of minutes, maybe a minute at max, to get a decent lap time in here. Obviously we've got to do our out lap, which takes about half a minute, and I think we're probably going to have two timed runs before we end the session. So yeah, it's going to be tough to get the perfect lap time in here, especially with only, you know, a minute and a half probably max to go in this session, but we'll definitely try our best. And as we went into this round, I obviously had 239 points, which meant I did have the championship lead, but my dad, who didn't take part in this race, had 101 points. Will had 94, so Will had moved himself up to 3rd place, but he's currently away on holiday, so he wasn't able to take part, so I should say, in this race here. Obviously a bit unfortunate for him. But I think he will be back for the last round, so he will have a chance to still battle it out for a possible top 3 finish. We'll see, obviously, in time whether that does happen. But yeah, so Will's in 3rd on 94 points. Tom had 81. Tim had 79. Then James. No, wait, I'm looking at the wrong store. I was just looking at the wrong thing there. But James had 74 points. And how many points did Tom L have? Tom L had 43 points at this point, so yeah, it's going to be quite close. Obviously there's trophies for the top 6, so I'd say one of the fast 7, which I'd say in this championship, are myself, my dad, Tom, Tim. Maybe not the fast 7, maybe just the ones that are, you know, the guys that have came most times, but me, my dad, Tom, Tim, James, Will and Tom L all have a chance at trophies. Well, obviously I've got 1st place, which is good, happy with that. But obviously 2nd downwards is undecided. Anyone can get those trophies currently, so yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. Well, pretty much anyone. Maybe not actually everyone, but you know what I mean. Pretty much everyone that's gone more than two times can wrap up 2nd place. I know that sounds bad, but obviously not everybody was able to come as much as I did this year. In terms of my performances this year, don't think they were as good in general, but anyway, managed to get pole position, which is good. Tom L in 2nd, Tim in 3rd, and then Tom in 4th. So yeah, pretty happy with that. We had about, I think, was it 2 laps to get a decent lap time in, and we managed to do just that. We got pole position by, I think, nearly half a second in the end there, and that was over a second faster, if I remember correctly, than my kart beforehand. So yeah, I was happy with that. I'll take it. I mean, obviously that's 5 extra points for the pole position now, and yeah, I think that means, yeah, I'm up to 6 pole positions now, so it means that no one can beat my pole positions. I mean, if Will had done this round, the next round and the last round, he would have, you know, if he'd got pole position in all of them, which he probably would have, he would have equalled my pole positions. But obviously he's away on holiday, so I'll miss round number 10 and number 11, but he should be back for round number 12, which should be good. But anyway, it is time to look at the lights, and the lights are out. This is racing, and this is race number 1. Obviously Tom L gets the classic amazing start for him. He goes right into the lead this race, and he's already got at least a second over all. So me, Tom and Tim will go 3 wide into the first corner. Tim leaves me enough space to go down the inside. I did initially drop down to 4th place there, but I managed to just have enough of a space down the inside to go past Tim and Tom. Obviously Tom was trying to go around the outside, but it didn't really work out from here. But yeah, Tom really putting the pressure on Tim straight away here. He's trying to get the position, but I can see I pulled out a bit of a gap to Tim. Tim actually had to switch over go-karts just before this. Was it before the first race of the 2nd race? He had to switch over go-karts at some point. I think it was after the first race, actually, into the 2nd race. I think he had to switch over go-karts, which obviously is a bit of a change up. You don't know really what to expect. But anyway, I'm closing down Tom L now, and I've got a bit of a gap to Tim, so I don't really need to worry about defending, don't need to worry about going for defensive line. I can just go for the fastest line. And Tom is right up behind Tim now. They're battling it over 3rd place in this race, and I've caught up to Tom L now as he made a mistake around that bottom corner, and I'm right up in the slipstream, but I don't think I'm going to be quite fast enough in the slipstream to go past him there. But we go a bit wider through this corner, we get a really good run through the corner, nearly contact, we managed to just tuck in behind there and keep 2nd place here. And Tom, he's lost a little bit of ground to Tim there through that top corner, and I think now that I'm battling with Tom L, all four of us are going to slightly close up a little bit here. We'll see. And Tom L makes a slight mistake. I just avoid contact there. That was lucky. Managed to avoid that. I was like, that's what I was like, no, no, no. Luckily, we avoided that contact. I was like, no, in my head, but luckily I managed to avoid that contact there, which obviously would have ended up in a crash, which wouldn't have been good, and it would probably have put Tim into the lead. Tim's made a mistake through the top corner. You can see Tom's right up behind him now, but he just can't find a space there. Tim went incredibly wide through that top corner there. I'm not too sure why that was. He misses the apex a little bit there as well. And now around the bottom corner for Tom and Tim, it looks like the gap has widened up a little bit. The gap from me to Tom L is about the same from Tim to Tom. And down this back straight, it should be good for Tom here. He's up in the slipstream. He's got a really good run here on Tim. But is he going to have enough speed down this back straight? He's trying to look to the outside. Don't think he's going to quite be able to do it. Tim had enough sort of speed in the end there down that straight to stay ahead. Now Tom right up behind Tim. He's trying to go around the outside, but that's just not going to work out there. You can't really make an overtake through this part of the track here. It's going to be up into the top hairpin really is the best place to overtake. And now looking at the left hand side of the screen, you can see I'm definitely closing in on Tom L now. I'm putting a bit more pressure on him. He's got a bit sideways through that top corner here, and I thought, this is it. I'm right up in the slipstream here. This has got to be the overtake. And I brake a little bit later, go to the inside, make the position up and go for the move. And honestly guys, that was as late as I ever dared go down the inside there. I braked so much later than I thought I could through that corner there. But maybe that's actually good, because I know I can brake later into that top corner throughout the next couple of races. I didn't really realise I was going to be able to make that corner braking that late, but I managed to go for it down the inside and get that position. So anyway, that's got me into the lead this race now. This would be my 5th win of the season. Currently I'm equal on 4 wins with with Tim and Will. Tim and Will both have 4 wins, so do I as well. So we're all drawing on 4 wins, and it actually is a trophy for most wins. So, you know, when there's a trophy, you gotta try and go for it, and that's exactly what I was doing here. So I was like, this is my perfect opportunity to get a little bit of advantage in that most wins trophy race. All of this stuff is actually on the website, guys. It's always linked in the description of the video if you haven't watched it. Sorry, if you haven't checked it out, I should say. The website, I think I've been putting a lot of effort into it, and I've got some updated tables as well, so that the whole sort of standing stuff looks a lot better than it used to, and I'm hoping that we can continue with that and hopefully just make more and more improvements. I do all of the website stuff myself. No one's helped me with it, and I've done it all myself. I mean, I know it's not like amazing or anything, but considering where it started, I've improved quite a bit on it, and I quite like the look of it at least. I mean, I'm sure somebody will say that it isn't very good, but I think it's alright for me at least, considering I have absolutely no idea how to make a website look good, but it turned out alright, and it's pretty easy to navigate around, which is good. But anyway, I think it's time to focus on the battle between Tim and Tom, as Tom had a good chance to go for an overtake there, but he just couldn't quite make enough of momentum through that top corner there, and he just had to fall behind once again. So that's unlucky for Tom, and Tim's got another bit of an advantage. So at this point, Tom's just going to have to be putting the pressure on Tim and try and get that position. I mean, him in the championship, it's incredibly close between him and Tim. They are separated by 2 points going into this round. So obviously, if Tim finished ahead of Tom here, I think they would be equal on points. Actually, not actually thinking about it. Yeah, well, let's just think about this again. 10 points for 3rd place and 8 for 4th. So yeah, they will be equal on points after this race if this is how this finishes. So it's really important here for Tom to go for the overtake here and get that position. I've also got to be a bit wary on Tom L, because he's obviously done the last this will be his 3rd time going go-karting in 4 rounds, and he's doing pretty good, isn't he? He's racked up a win obviously in his 1st weekend. His 2nd race weekend was, you'd say, a little bit worse, but still pretty decent. He's still got a podium, if I remember correctly. He's still got a 3rd place in there, and now we're looking at another good result from here. This will be a 2nd place in this race, because it doesn't look like Tim's catching. Actually, we'll see in a second here, but actually maybe Tim is catching here. It does look like Tim is actually closing up a little bit here on Tom L towards the end of this race here, so maybe we have got a bit of a race on here for 2nd place. Maybe we should not discount that just yet, but ever since I pulled away from Tom L and obviously gone for the overtake, it seems that Tom L has backed off his pace just a little bit. And you can see, I'm looking over there, I can see Tom and Tim battling it over the 3rd place here, but Tom L is definitely falling back a little bit here. He's obviously lost a bit of time to me, and the speed seems to be in the favour of Tom and Tim at the moment. They definitely seem to be closing in at this rate. So with, what would you say, we're at 15 minutes into the video, probably about 7 or so minutes into this race here. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Tim can catch up here, because obviously Tim, he did really, really well. The first 4 races he did in this season, he won every single one of them, and I was like, how am I going to be able to beat him in this championship? But I suppose, in a way, it was lucky for me, but I suppose obviously unfortunate for him that he had to work some of the days we went karting. So yeah, unfortunately for him, he couldn't go to all the races, and yeah, I'd obviously invite everyone to all of the races and obviously try and get as big a grids as possible so we can have as much, obviously the more people there are racing, the more fun it is. So invite as many people as possible. But really in this round here, you're watching round number 10, and the last round that Tim did, which was round number 5, I think, so quite a long time ago actually. Round number 5 and round number 10, looks like I have the advantage over Tim. So Tim had the advantage over me in round number 1 and round number 1 and 4 are the ones he's done. That he got both race wins. So he got 4 race wins in 4 in those first 4 races that he did. It's just crazy. I can't comprehend how comprehend how well he did in that first part of the season. So yeah, so it's good for him though. It's nice to see obviously different people winning, and obviously with the new updated standings table on the website, you can see it all a little bit more clearly. Now I'm going to get it up on my other tab, so I've got the screen watching this in the background, and then obviously the Go-Kart Championship on the left hand side here. So you can see I had a pretty bad start to the season, in all honesty, guys. I got a lot of second places and a lot of third places, and then about round 6 onwards, I'd say I've improved a little bit. I don't know, it's tough. I have obviously got a lot more second places than I'd like in this championship so far, and you can also see that all in the website, linked in the description down below. But obviously you'd like to get more wins and all that, but Tim, the races he's done so far have been first, fifth, fifth. So I suppose that's round number 5 there, both those 5th places. Round number 5 didn't seem to quite at the pace of everyone, and obviously in this round number 10 here, we won't spoil the results just yet, but he's looking good for at least a podium, because he's definitely catching up to the back of Tom L here. So that's going to be a close finish here. We've got, I'd say, 1 lap to go, maybe 1 lap to go, I assume. Anyway, it's been a pretty decent season for me in terms of points. I'm actually doing better off than I was this sort of part of the season last year. But last part of the last season, I managed to get, was it 5 wins out of the last 6 races. I did really good last part of the season last year. So yeah, I was unsure whether I was going to be able to beat the points total from last year. Obviously I'd want to, because it meant that I can say that I've improved this year. But in all honesty, guys, I haven't got as many race wins this year. I mean, if I win this race here today, I'll be up to 5 race wins, and I'd pretty much have to win every single race, in the last couple of rounds to be able to match my points match my wins total from last year. But anyway, I've already crossed the start-finish line as I'm rambling on here, and Tom L does just about hold on to 2nd place, and Tim finishes in 3rd, with Tom in 4th place there. So that's how race 1 looks. I managed to get the win, obviously, over Tom L. Tim in 3rd place, and Tom finished in 4th place. So that does mean now I'm ahead in the points. I'm ahead in the points, obviously, as well, but I'm ahead in the race wins category as well. It's put me on to 5 race wins ahead of Tim and Will, both on 4, and James also has 2 currently. So there's still a decent chance that I could be, battling out in the last round, depending on how this race here goes and round number 11. Anyway, the lights are out and away we go for the reverse grid race. Obviously Tom starting on pole position, and Tom L slightly getting blocked off here. Well, not like, they're not purposely blocking, but you can see there that there isn't really a space for Tom L to go for the overtake here, and Tim, with their good start, managed to go right around the outside there of Tom, and going to the leaders race. Now Tom's got to be careful, because Tom L obviously will be fast in a straight line right behind him here, so we've got to just watch how this all plays out here. But so far it's looking tough. Oh, look at that, very big slide there from Tim. Tom manages to just about hold it, and the whole 4 of us here are sort of bunched up, which is pretty good. And at this point I'm trying to find a way past Tom L. You can see on the left hand side of the screen here, not too sure where to go. Tom is defending, and up to the top hairpin. I'm going down the inside of Tom L. Oh, there's nearly contact. Tim nearly hits the tyres on the outside as well. That's lost him a bit of ground. And now trying to go around the outside of Tom. That's not going to work out for him. And Tom is just really putting the pressure on here. You can see on Tim, he's literally right up behind him here. And now through this bottom corner up to the start finish line here. Tom's got good momentum through here. Is he going to be able to get past Tim into the top hairpin? Well, you can see he had a really good run until this point here where Tom L comes alongside him. It looks like he's going to go right around the outside of him here. And Tim, he's going really wide through here. Tim has just gone off. He's hit the tyre wall on the outside. Tim has dropped himself out of the podium positions and is going to drop him way behind in terms of time as well. But looks like Tom L here is slightly backing up here. When he sees the yellow flags, he really does slow down here. And see, I went around the outside of Tom here up to the start finish line. We don't get yellow flags yet, and we managed to get yellow flags just here. And then I sort of brake a little bit too much there, so I say sorry to Tom there because I braked a bit too much. And then I give him the thumbs up just to check it that it was alright, because I was like, ooh, that was a bit risky there. But here we are, we're going around this top hairpin very, very slowly. I think Tom L in the last round was sort of told by one of the marshals to go a bit slower through the yellow flag zone, and that time we went really, really slowly through the yellow flag zone. So obviously the sort of quick restart there didn't really work out too well for me there because I've lost a bit of time to Tom L, but he's gone very wide through his bottom corner here, and I've gone right back to the back of him here, and that good momentum through the corner will help me up to the top of the track. I think the yellow flags are in. Yes, they are. So up to the top corner here, I'm going to try and go down the inside. Am I a little bit too far back? I'm going to try and... Oh, I've gone for the move anyway. I didn't expect that. I didn't even though I remember racing, I didn't remember going for that move there. It looked like I was so far back here, and Tom now is right up behind me. You can see my car is skipping all over the place over the bumps, and I didn't realise Tom was still right up behind me here. I thought I might have pulled a bit of a gap here, but he is still right behind us, and Tim, I think, is just a little bit behind Tom here. So up to the top hairpin now. You can see I'm right up in the slipstream of Tom L once again. I go defensive because I realise Tom is there looking to the inside. Are we not gonna? No, we're not gonna quite manage to get that move done, and we have to stay behind Tom L once again for another couple of corners at least. And you can see I keep looking behind. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? Because he was right up behind me for the last couple of corners. And I was like, we're gonna have a lot of pressure on us here, and we've got a good run through this bottom hand corner once again. And Tom L, you could say, he could have taken a bit more speed through that bottom corner, but that's put me and Tom right up behind him once again, up to the top hairpin. We just don't have quite enough straight line speed to go for the overtake. I get a pretty decent line through that corner though, but still lose a bit of ground actually through there, which is a bit disappointing. Watching this back, I realised I lost quite a bit of time through that top corner. Maybe I just sort of slid a bit too much. Now, bottom corner here, can we manage to get the move done? We've gone for a move down the inside. Tom L's left a big gap, and we've gone for the move down the inside, and we're going to run side by side through this fast right-hander. Do we manage to get the overtake done? We complete the overtake now, but we've got to be careful of Tom L because he's going to be fast in a straight line. He nearly cuts off Tom there in a straight line, but we do manage to keep the position there. I went defensive down the whole straight to make sure he couldn't go for the overtake, and now Tom is definitely trying to look for the overtake. He's trying to go side by side with Tom L, but he can't get it done. He's tried to go around the outside, but that wasn't going to work out. Now we've run a bit wide, and Tom L's going to try and go around the outside of us, and now Tom's got a really good run through this corner exactly when he needed to. I can't turn into the corner exactly where I want to because Tom is there. He's gone for the move down the inside. A really good double overtake there from Tom. That could be in contention for the overtakes of the season, but I've come back down the straight, maybe a bit more momentum through the fast corner, obviously running wide, and Tom obviously going to go down the inside here, and I was trying to like leave space there, so I was like, Tom, just go first because otherwise it's going to be a crash. And then I realised behind Tim is right into the action now. He's trying to go on side by side with Tom L now, so this race has really took off in the last couple of laps. The action has started to get going again. So, you know, looking at this race, who has got wins and who hasn't. So, obviously, so far I got 5 race wins. Tom, he's only had a 1 race win so far this season, so this would be a good opportunity for him to go for another race win. And he's trying to go down to the inside here, and yeah, he does manage to keep the position for now. But yeah, so Tom's only got 1 race win. This would be a good opportunity for him to take another. Tim has 4 race wins currently, and only 1 other podium, weirdly. 4 of his 5 podiums have been race wins, and the other one was a 3rd place in that last race there. And Tom L, he got a race win in his 2nd race ever, which is pretty impressive, and he's been on the podium every single time except for once, which was the 1st race in round number 9. So anyway, top corner once again. I'm trying to make sure that Tom just like I want to make sure that he doesn't do anything silly here, because if he just like cuts across in front of me here, it could end in an accident. So I'm being a bit careful when trying to overtake him here, because I wasn't sure exactly what he was doing with his really wide lines in the top corner, so I was always a bit careful with that. But I was hoping he was just going to be a bit more consistent with his speed now that we've got past Tom L, which is obviously it's very hard to overtake Tom L because he's so fast in a straight line. So yeah, consider this top corner here. I was like pointing to Tom, like, why are you going so wide through this top corner? And that's what I was trying to point, but I suppose it doesn't really make much sense when you go around. He probably didn't see me, but he has managed to keep a bit of a gap here through this through these last couple of laps. He managed to keep the advantage, which is pretty decent. So I'll definitely be looking to keep this win here. And actually, as I was saying in that last race, him and Tim are actually equal on points until this race here. So whoever finishes ahead of them in this race here will go, you know, ahead of one another in the championship. And also my dad, who didn't take part in this race here, is on 101 points. So if Tim can get into third place here, at least if he can get past Tom L, he might be able to take third place in the championship back. Obviously he missed out a big chunk in the middle of the season, so obviously that's why he's a bit further down than he'd want, considering he got 4 race wins early on. But he actually is ahead of Will, who's also got 4 race wins. So yeah, it's pretty interesting dynamic in this series so far. I mean, there's lots of different, obviously, drivers in the championship. Obviously myself, Tom, my dad, Tim, Will, James, Tom L, Harry, Will's dad, Job, Harry's dad. Obviously Harry and his dad, Job and Will's dad, they haven't really come go-karting that much. Harry had a really good hit. He literally just did 3 races in a row, Harry, or 3 rounds in a row I should say, and he managed to get a win in there, which is good. He kept up his well, his second season where he's got a win. I mean, for a part of last season when we were going go-karting with Harry, we were like, is he ever going to get a win, because he didn't ever seem to have quite the pace that we'd expect. But in certain race weekends he had really good pace, Harry, so it's always good to see him, you know, get good results, Harry. Obviously he's been a good friend of me on YouTube and all that, and obviously at school and all that, but you know, always good to see him go-kart and meet up with him. But yeah, he is currently, I think he's currently a little bit ahead of Tom L in the championship. Yes, he is. He's a couple of points ahead of Tom L in this championship here. So he's going to hope to, well, Tom L's going to hope to leapfrog Harry in this race weekend. Sorry, Harry, but he's going to hope to leapfrog in this weekend. And I think after that last race though, he probably actually already has leapfrogged him going into this second race here. He's probably already ahead of him. So this just second race here will just be, you know, help on that as well. But also something to watch out for in this last couple of races of the championship is the race between Will, who obviously will be coming back in that last round. How's he going to fare in that last round? Where is he going to be able to get up to? Because I know that he's going to have incredible speed, but I just don't know where he's going to be able to fit in the championship. Where is he going to be able to go ahead of Tim, maybe my dad? Is he going to be able to finish second ahead of Tom? It's really tough to know, because obviously we know Will's probably the fastest person in the championship and the fastest person who's ever raced in the championship, but he hasn't done really enough rounds to be fighting up for a top 3 in the championship. And looking at the standings now, it is going to be tough for Will. He's going to miss, obviously he's missed this round here, so that's put him down the championship a little bit. I think he was 3rd place in the championship before this race, and obviously he's going to miss round 11 as well, so that's going to move him a little bit further down. And it could even be, if Tom L, I think if Tom L can get, if he finishes 3rd in this race here, he could actually be ahead of Will going into the last round of the championship. I mean, I know that's a little bit unlikely, but we'll just see how that all works out, because obviously it's going to be tough for Tom L to get 2 race wins and a pole position in the last, or in round number 11 I should say. But you know, maybe it'll happen, maybe it will, I don't know, we'll see. But I suppose he could also get, looking at here, he could get pole position first and a 2nd place and still go ahead of Will if he finishes in 3rd place here today. So here we are, last lap I think of this race here, up to the start finish line. There's the checker flag. Tom wins his 2nd race of the season, his 4th race ever at go-karting, so he's pretty happy with that. I managed to pick up a 2nd place there, and I'd say my form was slightly picked up there. You can see I've got a 1st and a 2nd in this race weekend and get a pole position as well. 32 points. I haven't managed to get a perfect 35 race weekend this year. I managed to get that twice last year, but unfortunately I couldn't do it so far this season. Obviously, with 2 rounds to go, we still have a little bit of a chance. But anyway, there's the race 2 results. Tom, myself, Tom L managed to keep 3rd place. There's still a chance you go ahead of Will in that next round. And Tim, sorry, I should say, manages to stay in 4th place for that race, or didn't manage to get any better, I should say. But there is the new look points table. Hopefully, you guys like it. It looks a little bit nicer. Hopefully, you agree with that. So you can see there, you can see what I mean by the 2nd places and 3rd places. The first are all spread out, so it doesn't look like I have done that well. But yeah, in terms of points, I'm better off than I was last year. But in terms of race wins, I'm quite far down. Tom, you can see there, is in 2nd place now in the championship. He's just gone ahead of my dad. My dad's obviously not raced since round number 8, so I think he might be coming back for round number 11. We'll see. Tim, obviously, you can see his race wins all next to each other. So you can see he's in 4th place, then Will in 5th place, then James, Tom L just behind James now, then Harry, Will's dad, Job, and then Harry's dad finishes down there, or currently down there in 11th place, I should say. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.